Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
You just had to you got to type during the opening. You just can't
was
a
the
minute and a
last
half. You can't sit still.
It was the last second.
Nice.
I
need adults.
perfectly.
How's it going?
Welcome. It's going good. Welcome to Dart Talk. Steve Ponselman with Mystery Mark and Chat Room Girl, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. And how was your weekend?
It was fine. Nothing too exciting.
Awesome. How about you? How'd your little surprise party go?
It was great. It was a great party. She was surprised.
Oh, good. Okay.
Had a really good turnout. A lot of friends. A lot of people that didn't play darts. A lot of people that did. I had a good time.
Nobody opened up the bag or anything and let her know. She
Actually, no. I want to say thanks to everybody for not letting it out of the bag
Okay.
that Missy's surprise 40th birthday party was happening last Saturday.
Well, happy birthday, happy belated birthday. Also, happy belated birthday to Larry Butler. Was with him all weekend.
Happy birthday, Larry. What
Didn't,
was his birthday?
I think it was Sunday. Didn't realize it
Oh,
was his birthday
it was
until I
this
saw
weekend.
something. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. At least
Was
somebody
he
had a good
39?
weekend. Larry. Larry tells this joke about how he used to have a full head of hair, and he would pull out a hair every time he hit a ton 80. I don't believe that for a
Yeah.
second. Not that he hasn't hit a lot of ton 80s.
Well, obviously he has if the story's correct.
We have a lot. We have a lot to get to this show. They wrapped up round 2 of the PDC World Match Play, so we will go through your picks.
Oh, nice, yes.
Your Flyers took a dump, I think,
Well,
and the chalk. I think the chalk is still going.
chalk is
RVB's
running
out.
too.
Yeah,
Right,
RVB's out. The top 4 seeds are all still going, and I got a chance to actually sit and watch all the matches today, and I got a Chizzy and Jamie Caven were really rocking it for a while there.
Yeah.
Caven kind of ran out of triples after about 20 legs or 19 legs or something like that, but they were banging that 20 pretty good. It was fun to see. It was a lot of fun. Van Gerwen just smashed Peter Wright. Just
Really?
smashed him.
All right.
Oh, gosh. Brendan Dolan played who did Brendan Dolan play? He played Adrian Lewis. And I haven't seen such a poor display of finishing since the way I played in Chicago over the weekend.
nice.
It was pretty bad. At one point, he had missed 14 of his first 15 doubles and just gave it away. He just got absolutely annihilated by Adrian Lewis, who was
That's
just
awful.
cruising along, averaging over 100.
Mhm.
So it was. So we'll get to the
Yeah, I
that
don't
later
even
in the
have my
show.
bracket in
No,
front
I
of me.
kept it though.
All right.
Why would I throw that out?
No, I know. I just don't have it right now.
No, and the I like the match play. I like the format. Win by 2, alternate start,
Yeah.
1 diddle. That's it. You know, whereas there's another format where I'm going to take issue with. We have some results. We have results from the North American Championship Tour. There were
We do.
I don't have Friday's results, but we have Saturdays and Sundays for the men's and the women's in the singles events, and we also have the
How do you
first.
not have Friday's results? Were you not there?
I was there. I was there, but after I stunk it up, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go
okay.
outside and get some air. You know. We also have results from Washington State from the first Darts Live USA Tour.
Stage 1
events.
America's Tour.
America's Tour
Stage
one. Okay.
Yep.
Some of the lingo's kind of hard to get to. I got some BDO news you're all surely going to like.
Great.
Not everyone's gonna like it.
Not everyone's going to like it.
Do
And
they
we got
ever?
some. Well, we have some news. You want to talk about a tournament? You want to talk? You don't have to do it this second, but I'm just so we know what's on the show tonight.
I'm ready.
so we don't
Look,
forget.
It's already on right here on my little piece of
All right.
paper.
So because Bob Hudzik was in Chicago,
Awesome.
and he runs. I talked to him just for a little bit. He runs a charity tournament. I guess this is the second or third year,
Second.
and I told him that we would plug it on the show. So plug away.
You want me to plug now?
Plug now.
We're gonna plug now.
Plug now.
The second annual Darts for Kids. It's in Litchfield, Illinois, which is just south of Springfield, Illinois. It's at the Litchfield Community Center. It's on August 3rd, which is Saturday. The doors open at 9. It starts at noon. There's $20 to get to the door. You get a meal, free beer, and free soda for $20. Their goal this year is $15,000. Last year they just about reached $10,000. And I went there last year. It was awesome. A lot of fun. Some of the kids are there that you're actually raising money for, which was nice to see. And a lot of gift baskets and raffles and so forth. It was a really good time.
Yeah, it sounds like a worthy cause.
good
Unfortunately, there's a conflict with this one.
Right.
It's the same weekend as the second stop,
America's Stage 2.
which is up in Madison, which
Yep.
apparently is booked up, but you can go to the Darts Live website and sign up for their waiting list.
Yeah, so if you can't get in at Madison, come on down to Litchfield.
That's kind of what I was heading
Yeah.
there. Way to pick up on that.
Yeah,
that was,
well,
that
I'm
was
smart
awesome.
sometimes.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
I
The other
couldn't imagine
thing,
that.
the other
Let's
thing,
go to Litchfield.
We could do a song. You want to do a song about that?
the other thing that
Let's go to Litchfield.
Litchfield.
I spent my weekend in Litchfield.
Did you guys hit the bar before you came over? I'm just
Nope.
curious because
Unfortunately
you didn't bring
not.
any for me.
Nope.
I brought you coffee.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I
that
didn't
too.
spike it though. I should have.
Probably would have helped. There might be something in the freezer in the back. The
Oh.
first
Oh.
break.
Happy
Well-
belated birthday to John Lowe as well. It was also on Sunday.
Okay. I guess the other thing that I found out today was they're going to have an exhibition August 8th at McHale's, which I believe they did last year, unless it was at a different place. So they're going to have, they're calling it the Big Night Stars of American Darts or something, which, you know,
Where's
if I'm not
McHale's?
there, I mean, I don't know how big the stars can possibly be. It's in New York City.
Oh,
So it's the
okay.
same weekend as the Stanford tournament. So I think it's like
All
the
right.
Thursday or Friday before. We'll post. I think there's a link to it on Dart Talk's Facebook page. You can go and check it out. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun. And I know the guys that did it last year. I think it was like Larry, Chuck Pankow, Jimmy Widmer, Darren Young. Everybody had a good time. They put on a
I think
nice
we
show.
just glassed over that comment of the stars thing.
Yeah,
with you,
I'm
but-
not playing like
but-
anything like a star these days. Anyway, you guys can check that out. That is on our Facebook page, our Dart Talk Facebook page that apparently everyone but
sure?
the chat room girl can read. Well, apparently there's links on there that are invisible to her, so
Right.
she must have some strange laptop.
It would be a wise idea to move on.
The other bit of
Moving on.
well, the other bit of news was I heard a rumor, and like a
All
good
right.
journalist, you know, I went to, you know, who I consider reliable sources to try to come to the bottom of it, as a good sports journalist should do. But the rumor was that people who play in Darts Live events were going to have to sign the BDO waiver.
They were going to have to.
Well, yeah, that was the rumor. And I believe its source was somewhere north of the border in Canada. And this sounded to me kind of odd until I reread the rationale behind the original, you know, BDO waiver rule. Where what the BDO had said, what their supposed justification was for even having people sign a waiver in the first place.
Right.
We all know why
The
they're
180
really
rule,
doing it,
right.
but the idea was that because the North American Championship Tour events are to qualify for the PDC World Championship, and the other BDO associated events are to see who's going to qualify for Lakeside, and no one can play them both. The BDO's infinite wisdom was, well, then if you play in any events to try to qualify for the PDC one, then we're not going to count the points you get in the events that qualify for Lakeside. That was
Right.
their rationale, which I
Right.
call BS on that. Total BS on that. And they've managed to prove it now.
BS, do you want to disclaim anything? That
Oh,
we
let's
say?
disclaim
Disclaimer.
everything. Okay, disclaimer coming up.
You were reading my chat.
One
Get
disclaimer.
off
I am
my
not
chat.
reading your chat.
Mark
reading your
is.
chat.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
Let everything
All right.
all be disclaimed. So, okay.
I'm not reading your chat. It's my job to remind him to do the disclaimer. I was
It
just
was
a
funny
because
because my chat room just said, "Hey,
Oh.
don't forget
Do you
disclaimer."
guys want to get a room or what?
No, yeah, we're fine.
No,
Oh.
okay.
seriously. So,
Seriously.
no, the BDO's rationale.
Steve's
Well,
upset
the
that we're
BDO's
cutting into his talking time.
No, you're not. The BDO's
For
public,
the love of God.
their public position, and the reason that they required a waiver, of which I believe only 3 Americans signed anyway, was basically that they don't want anybody to try to qualify for both. That was what they
Right.
what they
'Cause
said.
you can't play both anyway.
Right. You can't qualify for both.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, did you notice the Darts Live Asia in France? There were like 2 Americans or 1 American, but there were all these Englishmen and these BDO, top-ranked BDO players playing.
No, I didn't realize that.
Well,
till you
Stephen
told me.
Bunting
Yes.
ended up winning it.
Okay.
Boris Kretschmer was up there pretty high. There were a bunch of BDO. Tony Martin was there, who I don't think he's a BDO player anymore. But I just found it curious that the BDO would ban Darts Live players. And then I was thinking there's no way that they would do that. Because the only reason this BDO ban works at all is because they're in bed with the WDF, which is Buddy Bartoletta and David Haskup, right? Who used to, David Haskup works for the ADO and the WDF.
So they're
not
not
that there's
banning-
any conflict of interest,
So they're
mind
not
you. Oh, no.
banning the Darts Live players.
Well, as it turns out, I hear David Haskup got an email from the BDO that says they're not going to ban Darts Live players because soft tip isn't a sport.
Nice. Really? That's the reason.
BDO making friends. Now, this is not me talking. This is the BDO
What's
talking.
the address? Can I send
But
dead cats?
well,
to
here's
that,
the thing that strikes me as odd because Paul Lim qualified for the World Championship last year by winning the soft tip World Championship, right? The grand final, I think they call it, right? So here are people that are playing in an event to qualify for the PDC Championship that are not banned, and then on the American side, here are people that are playing to qualify for the PDC World Championship that are banned.
Canadians also have to sign the waiver.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
So I find it kind of curious that they would do it that way, and I was trying to figure out why, since obviously they're not going to tell you the truth, and I think the real reason is if Buddy Bartoletta went to Darts Live and said, "Hey, blah 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 blah," they'd laugh him right off the phone and say, "Why don't you just go back to Stanford or go back to New York and go away? We don't take you seriously." I'm sure they'd be much nicer about it than that, but I think that would be the gist of it.
Yeah.
Was get back on your horse and tell Ollie, we said hi.
Right.
Which I was shocked. The royal couple had a baby and they didn't name it Ollie. They named it George.
That shocked you? I don't even
George.
think Ollie was on the list.
Hard to believe. He's
Yeah.
probably mad. Ollie Croft
He's
is probably mad
upset,
right
yes,
now.
I'm sure he is.
Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark Steve, chat room girl, and it won't be a long break. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Larry Butler, and you're listening to Dart Talk.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. That was Jeff Dotson. Thank you, Jeff. I finally got a chance to edit that and put it out there. That totally cracks me up. This is how bad my weekend was. I'll take a little personal time.
All right. Let's hear it.
All right. My
Personal time.
laptop hard drive fried. I got people on Facebook calling me a simple, arrogant ass for the comment I made
Well,
that we'll
can't
get
be
to
the
later.
first time.
No, that's nothing compared to what I've been called. Played lousy all weekend, kind of like I thought, but lost in really ugly ways, like, missing doubles and all this other stuff, and then, missing like the fat setup dart, and it was just a nightmare. But to top it off, I'd been really looking forward to Jeff Dotson coming to Chicago.
Right.
He was going to bring a couple
Talked
of
about it for
guitars.
2 weeks.
Right. We were going to write and record some bumpers for the show. Lo and behold, we get a chance to sit down. We play for like an hour and a half. And somebody messed up hitting the record button, and we
record.
got nothing.
Oh,
We got nothing but the in-between, do you want to go to bed or what? Yeah, I mean, it was just such a waste of time. It was, well, not a waste of time. I mean, we didn't get anything. We didn't
Yeah,
record anything.
right.
Outside of that, it was awesome. So, Jeff, if you're listening, thanks for the bumpers. I will definitely, if I get a chance to redo the credits, I'll definitely put something in there for you. Anyway, that being said, the PDC match play picks. You got one perfect bracket, and then where did you go wrong? What happened?
well, I went wrong. Well,
Your Flyers got their wings
let's
clipped.
see.
apparently.
Fill me in here. So Phil Taylor won.
Yep,
I'm
Phil's
assuming.
still going. He's
Andy
going to
Smith,
play. Yeah, he
Terry
lost to Terry
Jenkins.
Jenkins, and then Jenkins had a great match with Phil
Where are we
yesterday.
at? Are we
and,
in final 8 now?
yeah.
So Phil Taylor beat Andy Smith then?
Yeah, so Taylor is going to play Justin Pipe tomorrow.
Okay, so I had RVB, which he won the first round, but lost to Justin Pipe.
Lost to Justin Pipe.
All right,
so
I
Pipe
had
and
RVB beating Pipe, but so I lost that.
yeah, they're going to play tomorrow.
All right, so okay. And then Yelly Clausen lost to Whitlock.
Yeah, you had Clausen
I
beating
had
Whitlock.
Clausen, and I had
Okay.
Painter, and those two playing each other, but Whitlock's beaten both of them, right?
Yeah, Whitlock is definitely still going.
Yeah, so I'm out of that in the top 8 for Whitlock. I had Part going to the Final Four, and he lost right away to James Wade.
Right, and Wadey's still going, and he'll be playing
And he
Whitlock.
beat Gary Anderson, who beat Mervyn King.
They had a great match, and the fun thing was today. I think it was the Van Gerwen match. They actually had John Part in the booth, and I like listening to John talk about darts. And he was a little more. He was doing more play-by-play than he usually does. Usually he's like the color guy,
Yeah.
but he was kind of having to do them both, and I thought he did a great job. So anybody who's pals with John, I really liked his stuff today. By the way, and then what's the other
the
half?
bottom bracket, I had Steve Beaton winning, but did he beat Brandon Dolan?
No,
Oh, he
Brendan
lost to
Dolan.
Brandon Dolan.
Yeah, Brendan Dolan beat him.
But Adrian Lewis winning, and then Adrian Lewis beat him, so I got Adrian Lewis moving on.
Yeah, and he'll play. He beat Brendan Dolan today.
And then I have Andy Hamilton moving on.
Yeah, so you got that.
Did he move on?
Yeah, he's still going. He
All right.
won. He won. Not only did he win
Did
in
Thornton
relatively.
beat Ian White?
No, Ian White
Okay, so I
beat
would have
Thornton.
lost that one. But,
yeah,
but I had Hamilton beating Thornton.
right. So you got Andy Hamilton, and he's still going.
Right.
The funny thing was what they were saying on the broadcast was all the people had bet that the match was going to be 13-7, and it's 12-7, and I can't remember if Dolan had
How
a
do you
whack
make
at a
that
double.
wager?
You can
13
apparently bet
well,
on
I know
anything.
you can, but I mean, everybody all on 13-7.
That was the
obviously
majority. Everybody had 13-7,
Right.
and he nailed. I think it was a 56 out to make it exactly 13-7.
Nice.
So Andy Hamilton made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And today, and the thing was, Dolan couldn't hit a double to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of sad because he started out scoring. I think he had 7-ton 40s in his first 3 legs, and he was down 3-0.
Wow.
I mean, that's some really
Yikes.
poor finishing. Oh yeah, not as bad as Jamie Caven.
And then,
Jamie Caven had a real hard time.
in my actually apparently good bracket, I had MVG winning and Kim Hubricks.
Hybrids, yeah.
And then MVG beating him, and I had Caven beating West Newton, and Chisnell beating Nicholson, and Chisnell beating Caven.
Right. So that
So-
bracket is perfect, and that was actually a good call. You taking Jamie Caven over Wes Newton. I'm sure Wes Newton's killing himself right now because he played actually pretty good. But I was pretty impressed with Jamie Caven. That match today with Caven and Chisnell, I thought was just awesome.
Overall,
up until the
I'm really
point
not
where they
doing
got
that
under
bad,
100
though.
points. No, you're
I
not.
got Final 8 on the one side.
But you're ripping on me because I took all chalk, and the chalk is still there.
I rip on everybody that takes all chalk.
You don't like that?
It's easy.
Well,
It's easy.
you take the person that's going to win.
Yeah.
Did I literally go 1, 2, 3, 4 on my picks?
Yes.
And Taylor's 1 and
Yes.
Van Gerwen's 2?
Yes.
Wow.
But
It's not by accident those people have those numbers.
I
I'm just
agree
saying.
with that. But when you're picking for fun, throw a little upset in there just in case. You never know.
Well, I don't know. I thought I had some good ones in there.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm
I
sure.
had question marks by Steve Beaton. I told you Andy Smith wasn't going to do it.
Question marks by Jamie Caven, though.
Well, no, I circled it because I thought it was a good call.
okay.
I thought that was a good, like, kind of upset pick. And I told you I root for John, but I didn't really see him getting by Wade.
Right.
You
I
know,
agree. Yep.
You know, Wade's. This is a great format for Wade. It really is. He
Right.
seems to really play his best darts at this event. So that
Yeah,
wasn't
I mean, overall, I'm not upset
Yeah.
with my picks. I think I'm doing fine,
okay.
especially for not knowing anything.
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. So that's going on now. The PDC match play. We also
So we're down
had
to Final 8 on that.
yeah
right?
down to final 8. So they're going to play half of them tomorrow, half of them Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then the semi Saturday and the finals on Sunday, which I doubt I'll be able to see them, but because I'm going to Nashville.
Oh,
Music
nice.
City Classic, Yippee-ki-yay. One of my favorite tournaments.
Chisnell Craven today, it was 10 to 13.
Yeah.
13-10? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually 7-2 Chisnell, and then it was 10-7 Caven,
Wow.
and then it ended up being 13-10. Yeah. Caven just, I
Talk
don't know
about
if
a
he
game
got
of
tired or what, but Caven just ran out of triples, and he was really playing. I've never seen him play even remotely this good. And I know he won like 2 events in one weekend this year. So he's really, you talk about somebody turning a corner. I mean, this guy, you watch out for him. He's got a nice, simple, he throws a proper dart, flies great in the air. He's got kind of I don't know about I'm not terribly fond of his barrels, but you can't criticize darts that consistently hit ton 80s.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
Exactly.
even if they were square, I guess.
As
Well,
long
if
as
they go in, buddy.
it doesn't really matter.
We also have we had the North American Championship Tour in Chicago.
Correct.
I got a few things to say about that tournament, but you want to run down the results?
We could do that.
Okay. So start with.
Do you want me to do Saturday?
You should do
first?
Saturday first.
Okay.
Right.
Even though it's printed backwards. Just to let you know. I'm just saying.
Anybody can work under ideal conditions.
Saturday, top 8, Gordon Dixon, Sean Niren.
Sean Narain.
Narain.
Yeah, remind me to mention him later.
Tim Nicole, Oliver Jones.
Tim Nickel.
Okay.
Well, you can call him Timmy.
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 Third and fourth, Darren Young, Larry Butler, Dan Olson second, and Andre Carmen wins your Saturday event.
Just a word about Andre Carmen. He absolutely played spectacular darts all day. All day. I mean, every time I walked in and out of the hall, I think 3 times. Twice he was on a 10-darter, and the other time he was on an 11 as I
Nice.
was walking by, and I'm like, wow. And he played, actually, I think Timmy Nickel had a whack to beat him. Or at least Timmy Nickel got ahead. And Timmy said he was playing really, really well on Saturday. And Andre was just not to be denied on Saturday. So congrats to him.
All right. Is this the point you want to mention Sean Nairn, or you want me to?
Well,
remind
you can.
later?
Well, no, you can wait because there's
Well,
there were 2
let the record
guys.
show I've now reminded you.
Okay, remind me later because there's another guy I'm going to lump in
Okay.
with him.
Do you want me to do women's Saturday first, or you want me to
Sure,
finish the men's?
why not?
All right.
Do it your way, man.
All right. Saturday's results for the women. We got third and fourth, Brenda Rausch, Heather Gallagher. Second place, Kathy Salway, and Trish Grezik wins your Saturday women's event.
Congrats to all of them.
And then we go to Sunday for your men's, 5th through 8th, Ross Snook, Bill Davis, Chris White, Danny Luby II,
Lobby.
Lobby.
That's Paco.
Paco.
That's his
Paco to
nickname,
you
yeah.
and I. And then third and fourth, Dan Olson, Ryan Barnett. Darren Young second with Larry Butler with a happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Larry. That's why we played
winning
him.
the Sunday finals.
Right. I actually got a chance to watch that match. Just a couple of comments on overall on the play that I saw over the weekend. Sean Narain and Danny Lobby Jr. Danny Lobby Jr. beat Andre Carmen like a drum on Sunday. And I guarantee you, if somebody was making book the way Andre played Saturday, that was a 250 to 1 long shot that came in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he beat him like 6-2. I mean, it wasn't even that close. So nothing against Andre. Andre is a great player and had a great day. But from what I saw, because I also ran into Danny Lobby Jr. Friday night and I think in the doubles, in the men's doubles.
Second?
Well, I call him Junior.
Okay.
We call him Paco. But him and Sean Narain literally has it's almost like watching Adrian Lewis. And it's almost the exact same mechanics that Adrian Lewis does. It's a typo.
Okay.
They're missing a letter. It's an
asking.
imperfect world.
I know.
Okay?
I get some flack for mispronouncing names, but they don't understand that sometimes it's a typo.
Anyway, and it's kind of funny. Sean Narain's 20 years old. He's a Canadian, and I'm pretty sure Paco isn't 21 yet. And I'm like, wow, these kids are only like 20,
nice,
21 years old, and they're playing this good. And they both play kind of like, like PDC 501 darts. There's no messing around. They get to the line, boom, 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 they go get their darts. They get to the line, boom, 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 they go get their darts, And, they play fast, they play loose, and like a lot of these younger guys, it's the finishing that kind of nicks them up and some of the mental things that, once they iron that out, they're going to be extremely tough. So, I don't know, I was very impressed with the level of play there. As far as the final, I actually haven't sat and watched Larry play in a long time. And I don't really watch Darren that much. I mean, it's not like, he's not in almost every final and stuff, but I don't generally sit there and study him. And I had a chance to sit there and study Larry and Darren for a while. And it never occurred to me how different their styles were. Even though, Darren's left-handed. Right. Aside from the fact that one of them is a lefty.
Oh, okay.
And one of them isn't.
Okay.
What? What do you, did you not get to talk enough today?
No, I'm fine. Did I
Okay.
ding? Did you say something about Sean? Oh, yeah, you just did. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's a valueless interruption.
Okay.
Anyway, what
Yes.
were we babbling on
All right,
about?
you're
Oh, no,
talking
no.
about
I
their
got
different styles.
Different
They're
styles.
They're different styles.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny because, I never thought of Larry as a rhythm player. And I guess he is. I guess Larry is a rhythm player. Larry will, try to get his first dart in and then chase it with the other two. And I never really thought of Darren as being that deliberate, but Darren really is. Darren's a lot more deliberate. When you see him playing with, against Larry, it's obvious. Maybe because I've seen him play other people that were like somewhat deliberate. I haven't
What's
noticed
the
it
difference
before.
between deliberate and rhythm?
The speed with which you deliver the interval between your darts
All right.
is
Right.
much longer for Darren than it is
Yes,
for Larry.
right.
Larry's almost like looks very casually like, can I please get this over with? I mean, he's like boom, boom, boom. Whereas Darren's much more measured, right? And just looks more deliberate.
Okay.
And it was just kind of an impression that about halfway through the final, I was like, man, did he slow down or is he always this slow? And I was like, well, I guess he always is that slow. So, I don't know. Just kind of a comment.
All right. And then finally, the women's Sunday bracket. Third and fourth, Holly Frary, Brenda Rausch, Trish Kresick. Second place with Yvonne Martin Cowig winning your women's Sundays or Swan Day, depending on how you read it. Final.
Really? Now we're ripping me on my typos.
It's
There's not
Swan-
enough to rip me on.
It's Swan
really?
Day Fun
Are
Day.
you kidding me?
Oh,
Swan Day.
God.
Swan
Yeah.
Day Fun Day.
Swan Day Fun Day.
Congrats to Yvonne Martin Cowig.
Yeah. It was I don't know. That tournament, I had a long talk with somebody about it, and we came to a couple of conclusions. And one is we need to figure out a way to start getting an audience in these tournaments.
Well, we've talked about that for months.
And it was really funny because, the final, it was just like, it was quieter than a tennis match. I mean, it was literally like so quiet. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way because if it's going to be really quiet, any single sound is magnified because we kind of played in an echo chamber over the weekend. I mean, the ceiling was kind of low and, they don't have any music playing. They turned off the air conditioner, so you don't even get the hum. Although, I mean, I was dripping in sweat on Saturday. And Saturday was relatively warm. It wasn't like 100 degrees like it was on the East Coast.
During the week.
No, I had to go find chalk and all this stuff, and everything was slippy, and nothing felt solid in my hand. It was brutal. And then, Sunday wasn't quite that bad. But, sound-wise, it was just sort of like... you can't sell this. You can't sell two guys throwing darts in absolute silence to anybody. It's just not good television. Even if you have like a couple of people yakking, on a microphone describing the match with no crowd, with no audience, and no audience reactions and stuff, you got nothing.
It's going to be boring.
Yeah. It's absolutely like watching paint dry.
Right.
And I made the point to him, I'm like, the one cool thing about like Darts Live, they have the stage and everything, and the crowd is into it. But that's a noisier environment anyway because the machines are making noise, right?
Yeah.
I spent a good 3 hours playing soft tip on Saturday. Once I got knocked out of the singles, they had like a 5-hour delay before we were going to play men's doubles. I need to mention my men's doubles partner at some point in the show, too. I played with Gordon Dixon.
We'll come back. We'll mention that after the break.
Where are we on time?
We're about ready.
Okay. Well, let me get this in. So they had all these Sheltie Radical machines, right? And, the sounds were just, I swear, I think I was playing with Bill Davis, and we were just like messing around playing some strange cricket games they have where, I don't know, it would like randomly tell you what numbers come up and all this. And then at one point they misinformed me on the rules and I lost and I got irritated. But you hit a triple on these Sheltie Radical boards and it sounded like one of those kids' potties that make a little sound when you hit the right spot, like a little tinkle sound. It went, and I was just like, I don't think I like this.
Not an analogy I would have come up with, but
and then they played the machines play some little background music, kind of a soft. It was kind of hard to characterize, and I was like, well,
do the songs roll over like when you?
No, it seems like it just
second one immediately after the first, and the music starts over, but the other one hasn't finished
No, I mean,
yet?
it was like the machines that weren't in use were playing music.
Oh, okay.
Like, kind of like... And it struck me as sounding a little bit like slot machines. How slot machines have little music when the reels are spinning. It kind of struck me, not like I've never sat in front of a slot machine. I mean, it struck me as kind of those kinds of sounds. So, I don't know. I told the guy, I was like, these games, they had some interesting games. They this 501 game you play with, 5-6 people, and then you try to get the exact number that somebody's on, and if you do, they end up on 0.
Right.
And then you can't win unless you get somebody on 0. And at one point, Ryan Barnett was about to win, and he only needed, like a fat 20 or something, and I literally, Noonan! He missed. And I would never do that, but for some reason it seemed fitting. There's a certain casualness I felt, playing soft tip that I normally don't feel in front of a steel tip board. I mean, maybe it was the sing-song kind of sounds I was hearing or what, but... What?
Were you? You were just playing for fun, right?
Well, they had like a side... Yeah, we're just goofing around.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like a side... Well, no, we were actually playing for money.
Oh.
We each put in $1.
Oh, and you threw out a Noonan?
I threw out a Noonan.
Oh, you're playing for $1.
Yeah. Oh. And it was like the only game I won out of a dozen.
Right.
I mean, it was just horrible. And
Nice.
these darts, these really grippy darts were tearing up my fingers. But I had no problem getting the darts out of the board, so I was really happy about that.
You didn't need to
I don't know why.
You didn't need to oil the tips?
No, I didn't. All right. Did we do the results from the Darts Live?
We have not.
We'll do that when we come back because I want to talk about talking about goofy cricket games. I gotta make that one comment. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chatroom Girl. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Trish Grezik. I'm from Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and you're listening to Dirt Talk.
Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks, Windy City Fabricators. I got some good pictures, too, that Jeff Dodson took.
Okay.
I didn't have time to,
Of you
like,
two
kind of...
jamming?
No, just of us standing by the Dart Zones. The Dart
right.
Zone was in its everlasting glory in Chicago. He brought his traveling shop, so we got some pictures of that. We'll put new slides up next week.
Nice.
So I'll get to that. Hopefully Jeff will make it at the Nashville, and we'll be able to record those bumpers. As far as the audience things go, we talked about this last week. If you made it that far, I don't know if it was before or after the power outage or whatever, but we talked about
we still talked about
do individual tournaments like go out and try to get non-players in to
Right.
watch. Do they advertise like drink specials? Do they have like I know on Sundays they have youth clinics, but do the youths stick around long enough to see a final? Stuff like that. It was funny. I was talking to the guy running Sheltie, to Kevin Malafant, and I was like, I'll tell you, you know what we need to figure out is a way to get the bar. There's this movie I really like called it's the singer, the two piano playing brothers and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, the Fabulous Baker Boys.
Fabulous
Right.
Baker Boys, where she's like, well, I think we should get a percentage of the bar. And the guy's like, well, Mel Torme doesn't get a percentage of the bar, right? So he looked it up online, and I guess in the state of Michigan, you can get a temporary one-day liquor license for like $20. Can you imagine a dart tournament that had the bar?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I mean, can you imagine what the prize money would be?
Yeah.
Or what it would be like if you told... everybody's tried to figure out ways to get people to watch the final, and I haven't liked any of them. I mean, the idea that we're not going to pay you till after the final, that I don't really like that idea. It's really hard for players who have been knocked out to sit around and watch the guy that knocked them out
That makes
miss
sense.
the same thing
Right.
that they hit against you, but then miss it against the next guy. It just makes you want to tear your hair out, right?
Plus, you're upset.
Well, I mean, you may be upset, you may not
You
be
lost.
upset. I mean, it's just sort of like, especially on Sundays, getaway day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people want to hit the road and get home a little earlier. People driving 8-9 hours don't really want to sit around another 3 to watch to see if the guy that beat them makes
Actually
it.
wins. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But we need to figure out some way. And I was talking to a guy about this, and I'm like, well, I'll tell you. For one, I don't think too many people know how to act watching a final, and I'm not sure how many people would even agree. Like, there's been a couple of instances where I've tried to generate some crowd noise and some enthusiasm and act like I'm at a ball game, right?
Right.
Which is how we need the audience to be. We need the audience to be kind of like sports fans of
Right.
any other sport. At a hockey game, do you not cheer for the goal and cheer for, the guy getting smashed into the boards
Bang
and
on
boo
the
the
glass.
referee?
Bang on the glass.
Bang on the glass, whatever. Bang on the table for a ton
But you're also
80.
changing the
Yell
culture.
out bag of nails.
You're
well,
changing
okay.
the culture because right now that doesn't happen. So all of a sudden it happens at one tournament, and people are going to be like, well, wait, where'd that come from?
Well, so here was my idea. Here's what we need to do. We actually need to film a match with the correct crowd. They tried to get this at the NWDS in New Orleans, or not New Orleans, in Vegas. The NWDS is coming up in New Orleans. But in Vegas they had, and by the way, they had some hometown events last week. So congrats to Dieter Schutz, Chuck Pankow, and Scott Wollaston. They won their entries into the NWDS in Vegas.
Sweet. All right.
I won't call them cherry pickers for not being at the PDC in Chicago, but maybe I should. This cherry picking thing.
We'll get to it.
Well, fine, we'll get to it. But the idea of figuring out some way to not only get people in there, but get them to act in a good way, a way that they're comfortable with. You can't just go out there and tell people to cheer if they don't feel like cheering. So I mean,
So
it's
you want a
gonna
video
take
with a
some
bunch of
time.
extras.
This
We
is
bring
what
in-
I
we
was
bring in
thinking.
our own extras.
Not really a bunch of extras, but let's say in Nashville on Saturday night, while everybody's like playing the 4-man, let's throw an exhibition singles match on there and get some people behind the stage, get somebody to film it, and then if the crowd behaves like correctly and stuff, we can throw that up on Facebook or on YouTube or something so people can see this is how an audience should
Right.
be. Because I don't think anybody's really done this. I don't think anybody's really said, look, when you're watching a dart match, this is how you should be. And I don't think it should be this. Shh.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I don't think that everybody sitting like they're in a Presbyterian religious ceremony is really going to help us grow the sport. As far as getting people to the actual tournament and getting people to show up, well,
That's a different story.
yeah. I mean, people play for different reasons. And, I don't know. Should we do this now? Play this quote. It's kind of a nice segue. All right,
Let's do it.
Well, let me set this up. Okay, so last week I said basically I didn't know why anybody was going to Japan.
Right.
And the only idea I had in my head was, that they're cherry picking because they
cherry-picking
figure
the
it's a
field.
weak field and
Yeah.
they could dominate. So I don't misquote myself. This is and a lot of people, not just Gordon Dixon, but a lot of people took exception to this, and actually told me,
didn't
no,
call
so I'm a
any
cherry
specific
picker, huh?
person out.
Well, let's just play the quote, and the quote can speak for itself, and you can tell me what you think. And then Sassy, I don't know if you even heard this, so you could chime in if you like. So let's play this.
Can I really?
Yes, if you talk into the microphone, you can chime in.
Oh.
Otherwise, I just turn down the volume and we're good. Okay, so let's play this. It's only about a minute long. I do not understand anymore what a lot of the tournament players are thinking. Maybe it's the heat. I heard it's like 100 degrees on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, why would you fly to Japan to play a tournament that pays less money than one in Canada unless you're cherry picking the field? Unless you think, well, look, I can go to Japan and it'll be a much weaker field and I'll be able to dominate as opposed to going to Kingston, where the field's very tough.
Yeah.
You had, I won't say. I mean, you had every top player in North America there, and you got 3 guys traipsing off to Japan. What is that? For the life of me, I don't understand. The turnout I understand in Charlotte for the Charlotte Open was pretty good, and I'm wondering now. You know, I don't think
everybody's got their own agenda. They have reasons for it, I guess.
Okay, and you say it at the end there that, you know, and I kind of, when you said that, I was going to add more to it because, and I believe I said this to Gordon Dixon. He took exception to this, and a few other people did too. They're like, oh, I'm a cherry picker, huh? Yeah. Like nobody ever cherry picked a tournament.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
however,
so they took offense.
Yeah, they did.
But you didn't name names. They just
Well, I mean,
assumed they
who
knew
went
you
to
were
Japan?
talking-
I mean,
Right.
everybody kind of knows who went. It turns out there was more than 3, and according to Gordon, it paid more than the Canadian tournament did.
Right.
So I got that wrong too. So okay, so I did have
Well,
my.
that would make a difference too.
I guess I had
especially-
some of my facts wrong, but
especially if
I
it paid more.
yeah, but I still think that if I was in a position like that, and he also I can't remember everything he said on his Facebook post. I remember the part about me being like ass,
Self-involved
arrogant,
something or-
simple, arrogant ass.
So-
I
okay,
believe
yeah.
is what it was. So simple SAA. Yeah. Okay. It's not a good acronym. Anyway, what really was in my mind at the time was I was like, you know, here we are trying to get a tour going here in North America,
Right.
and people are going to Japan, and I'm like, you know, what? You got to be kidding me. Why, if your sponsors, you know, want to get something going, I would say, you know, let's pick another weekend. You can't obviously reschedule a big, you know, Japan Open or something. So okay.
Right.
But there were also guys, you know, going other places and stuff. And it's like, you know, people are going to make the decisions that they make for, you know, whatever reasons they make them. I mean, I haven't criticized anybody for signing the BDO waiver, although I think that it's ridiculous.
Well, right.
And I don't think anybody should sign it. And I've privately talked to a couple of players and said, look, I mean, you can complain all you want, but until your actions start reflecting your complaints, nothing is going to change.
People are going to take criticism the only way they want to take them, though.
Well,
Some people
yeah,
might
you
take
know-
offense to you saying, I think it's wrong to sign a BDO waiver, even though
They can. Everybody's
You don't
entitled
call
to their
them out.
opinion. You know,
Exactly.
somebody posted on my Facebook thing that I'm an arrogant ass or you know whatever, and I'm wrong about something, and I didn't delete it. I left it up there,
Mm-hmm.
and people can have their say. But you know, when push comes to shove, I mean, I may not agree with you, and if you want to hate me because I don't agree with you, then hate
So be
away.
it, yeah.
And I'll
Right.
try to wake up in the morning anyway.
Well, I kind of went
You know
through
what
the
I'm
same
saying?
thing. I went through the same thing with last weekend. I had an issue where
Okay, but that's a
okay. No, wait
yeah,
a minute.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
you know, here
Okay,
you go.
now let's
Now,
not get.
You just said that.
Okay,
I
we're
could-
talking about yeah.
okay,
We're
so
talking about darts
Can
though.
I?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And I'm talking about darts too. And so I had a decision to make on which darts I was going to play and where I was
Right.
going to go.
Right.
So I made my decision for me.
Right.
It didn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with growing someone's
I
tournament.
understand
or-
that, and I did
or
not criticize
anything.
you for it. Right.
You just asked me, and I said what my opinion might be because I just heard the heard.
Right. Okay.
heard-
All right.
So I'm giving you my opinion.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
Well,
Just continue.
so my opinion is that go play wherever you want to play, and if people don't like where you go to play, hey, you know what? Do you pay their travel to go wherever they want to go? Do you make their schedule? I mean,
You can look at it this way. You can look and say everybody's got the right to make whatever decision they make. I mean, it's a free country.
I mean, look, we've got
Right.
a darts live event that's going to be like less than an hour and a half away from a lot of us. But we've made the decision instead of going there, we're going to a benefit
Well,
for darts for kids because that
Except,
was our choice.
well, yeah, but no. I mean, what happened was it turned out that there was a schedule conflict, and then you had to make a decision. Had you had your way, you probably wouldn't have scheduled it the same weekend. But there's a little more to it than that. There's a little more to it when it comes to everybody. Everybody makes their decisions for themselves, and I get that. But people need to start looking, and I'm not singling anybody out here, so nobody post anything about this. No, seriously. But, you know, especially the tournament players need to start getting on the same page. If you want to have big-time darts in America, if you want darts on television in America, if you want more prize money in America and bigger tournaments, you have to turn out, okay? We went through this the first time the PDC rolled through. right? The PDC got undercut by the ADO and all this stuff, and it got to the point where you would have tournaments in America that had more Canadians and Englishmen than Americans. I mean, I still do not understand how you can have a North American championship in Vegas with 80 Canadians and 16 Americans. I still don't understand how that happened, right? You got plenty of people in America that want to play darts. Now, they need to start figuring out what to support. I understand regional interests. I understand, like, somebody who lives in New England would be worried that if all of a sudden this North American Championship Tour got big, that maybe it would hurt turnout at their events. And what I was trying to get to last week at the end of that quote was like, look, you had 8, 5, 7, however many people went to Japan, however many people went to the PDC in Kingston, Ontario, Charlotte still had a decent turnout. Okay?
Right.
If 5 or 6 pros don't show up at your local tournament, they're not making or breaking your tournament. And if they are, your tournament's already dead. If you cannot handle 6 people not coming to your tournament, you shouldn't be having a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Question away.
All right. Where did you play at that weekend?
What weekend?
The weekend of the Japan.
I don't think I played anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason I didn't go to Canada was, well, I procrastinate a little bit on paperwork and stuff like that, but I had already decided I wasn't going to go to Newfoundland or wherever that first one was because it was too expensive to go to, and I wasn't going to go to Kingston because, I don't have people flying me all over the country, and I'm like, I didn't think it was worth it to chase, whatever you get for top 16s, like $200 wouldn't even cover your expenses. Right. So I'm like, you know what? I've got 2 events in Chicago. If I do well there and I want to chase some more, then I will. This is like kind of player decisions. And this is something I think I was talking to Sharon Butler about it. It's like, maybe we need to start a management company for like top-level dart players, right? Well, we'll make your travel arrangements. We'll try to get you the best airfare, right? But we'll also advise you what tournaments to go to and why, right? One of the things about the Japan Open I didn't understand, although I didn't say it during this quote, is it was BDO points, and guys are going to play in a BDO tournament. They didn't sign their BDO waiver where they could have went to Canada, where they're on the North American Championship Tour points list, and then they would get North American Championship Tour points. So why would you go to a tournament that doesn't count for one that does? And I didn't kind of get time to say that either. But hey,
well,
as it turned out,
I
guess all these guys, it was sort of like kind of a semi-exhibition. It wasn't an exhibition, but it sort of was, where their sponsor wanted all their like American players there for some reason. And it's like, okay. I would have just told my sponsor, because we have sponsors, and I like talking to them. They're good people. And they understand some of the issues that, we're facing as players. Mm. And it's like, there's reasons to go to tournaments outside of whatever the prize money might be. Well, the Japan Open, he said it was more money. I didn't see that on the flyer, but maybe my conversion was off from yen to dollars.
Might be.
Anyway.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, but we stand by everything we say, and we say it for whatever reason we say it, and people are perfectly, it's not the first time somebody's going to say
everything that everybody agrees with. It's impossible.
If everybody agreed with everything I said on the show, I wouldn't do it.
But on the other hand,
what would be the value in that?
You commend the guy for standing up for what he believes.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
He brings up his points, and there's nothing else you could do.
I played the quote. And I had told Gordon that I don't remember calling him a cherry picker, and I guess I sort of did. I didn't really.
Specifically, you didn't call him out.
Well, I didn't. I said I don't understand why you're going to this tournament, and I listed reason one.
You called the people that went to Japan all cherry pickers. So
well, I did see. I don't think I called them cherry pickers. I said I don't understand, and then I'm like,
picking an event.
Why else would you do it unless you're cherry picking? Is what I said.
Yes.
Because I didn't see why else you would do it. As it turned out, there were sponsor.
Calling them cherry pickers.
By definition.
Well, no, it isn't. It's if here. You want to hear the difference? Oh, you want to hear something funny? Okay, so somebody accused me of yelling at him over the weekend at this tournament, and I said, I didn't yell. You want to hear me yell? Because if I yell at you, then you'll know the difference, and you will never accuse me of yelling again.
That's a sound difference, though.
I actually took this person into another room and yelled at her.
You said people,
and now she knows the difference.
Well,
if I'm going to call somebody a cherry picker, here's what I'll say. I'll say, that guy's a cherry picker.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what it
what's the-
sounds like when
when you-
I
when
call
you say-
someone a cherry picker.
When you say
When I say,
people that
gee,
go
I
over
wonder
to an
why
event
that guy's
are
doing
cherry-picking
that.
Events.
No, that is not what I said. Now I'm going to, because what I said was I'm speculating on reasons, and the only reason I could think of as we were doing the show is they must be cherry picking.
Okay.
Okay? That is not the same as calling somebody a cherry picker, especially when you don't even use their name. But I could see how somebody would think
yes.
that.
I could see how they would.
Hey, look. I
assume
could
that's
see
what you're
I could see why somebody would take umbrage with a comment
Yes.
like that. I don't know
So
how
do I.
emotional one would get, but that's fine. People are people.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
I don't
entitled
know
to-
about calling you a simple arrogant ass warrants
Well,
that, but
I'm not
that's
sure.
how he chose to.
I
you
don't
know,
think I'm that
express his
simple.
opinion.
To be honest, I've never thought of myself
No,
as simple.
an
but
arrogant ass, maybe
Nah.
not just simple.
I've been called arrogant and conceited my whole life.
He is definitely not simple.
The ass
No,
part,
that is true.
whatever.
Arrogant,
I've heard it's nice,
arrogant, baby.
but simple.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Uh,
fair. I don't think
now,
I
talking
maybe
about
I
your
am
ass,
simple.
we're going into
You
the
are very
well, I'm
complicated.
just
thing
saying.
without you and out
Hey,
of your
look.
shirt and all that
Very
stuff. I don't know.
You know,
complicated.
when it comes to doing a show, I mean, it's like if I say things that people get offended by and that they take it personally, that I actually regret. Because I consider Gordon Dixon a friend. I mean, he may not consider me one, but
Not anymore.
I always consider him a friend. And
Well, I mean-
it's like, people get offended, you hurt somebody's feelings inadvertently or whatever, that you regret. But I don't regret saying the stuff I say.
Yeah.
And I don't regret saying that. I wish I would have gone into more depth,
Right.
because then it wouldn't have been,
Well, I mean,
it would
you
have
know.
been like a list. Not
I don't
only are
blame
you
him-
cherry
I don't
picking, but it
blame
could have
him
been
for
this, that, and
taking
the other
umbrage
thing.
a little bit.
No, I don't blame
But,
him either.
you know.
It's like, you have your
Even though
say
you
and,
didn't specifically call him out, he assumed you were, and
well,
he took offense to it.
it wasn't just him. It was everybody else that,
Right.
that went to Japan that I thought should have been going to Kingston.
Right.
Right? I mean, I didn't go anywhere. If I would have went to Charlotte, then I'd be asking myself, why am I not in Kingston? And what am I doing in Charlotte? Right?
Goofy says, speak into the microphone.
To whom?
Oh, am I not speaking into the microphone?
Mark.
That's hard to believe.
Mark.
All right, let's take a break.
Like a
and
half
then
inch away from the
we got a lot more to get to, and we're running out of time. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chatroom Girl. You'll be right back.
This is DJ Sayer from Columbus, Ohio, and you're listening to Dart Talk.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, our host. Just the last word.
Did you play? I just want to ask a question. Did you play DJ Sayer to upset Gordon, or do you not have Gordon on?
I don't have Gordon on.
Oh, okay.
His next best thing is the only other
That's
guy
it.
from
All
around
right.
there.
It was been like, hey.
For some reason, I don't have Gordon saying the thing I'm listening to Dart Talk
Right.
like I have like 50 other people. I don't know how that happened because he's been on the show like twice, something like that. Anyway, the last word on this is, I'm really starting to think that until all the tournament players, and by tournament players, I mean people that will go and travel 3 or 4 times a year, to tournaments that are outside their locale, wherever they may live. Doesn't really matter. People that live on the West Coast are going to travel a lot less, I think, than people on the East Coast because everything is so far. Everything's a plane ride, right? Until all these tournament players get on the same page and say, I want to support this, things are going to struggle. I mean, like the ADO regional system, that thing has been struggling for a long time. Nobody wants to play it.
Well,
I mean, it's
kinda
in
like
the
we
Midwest,
talked
it's
about.
totally dead.
If you get 4 majors, if we set up 4 majors.
4 majors.
And
That's
everybody
all-
supports it.
Right.
You're all going to have intermediate tournaments throughout the year all around the place. But if you can get the 4 major tournaments set up that everybody supports, that's kind of what you're getting
If
at.
you could get 4 majors that everyone actually came to, where it isn't a matter of like, we're only paying 40% on the entry fees, like they
Right.
did in Vegas. Like, I don't trust the ADO to run them. But if we could have them run where they were first-class playing conditions, and they weren't that hard to get to, and they weren't that expensive. Larry Butler told me what we should do is have one in Myrtle Beach where the hotel rooms are $35 a night.
Right.
Right? And schedule them far enough in advance. That was the problem with the Pacquiao tournaments. I mean, by the time they were for sure, it was too late for me to get flights
Right.
to California, right? I mean, schedule them in advance. Like, we have one major next year for sure, and that's going to be like the
But even
championship
if you
in
came
February.
up with 4 majors, and it's not going to take off the first year, but if you had 4 majors and basically had it set every weekend, the same weekend every year, then all of a sudden, people are going to realize, all right, these are the 4 majors. The second year, they've got a whole year to plan. The third year, they're all going to know what weekend it is.
Yeah,
and
I mean
eventually
that
you're
was
gonna know.
yeah. That's the thing with the PDC tour and the way it's evolved. I haven't been wild about the way they've marketed it, and I've been like actually vocally critical of where they've put these events. I told him he shouldn't have one in Chicago, and I live here, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't understand why we're having one in Atlantic City. I mean, there must be some reason. I just don't know what it is. I can't think of one good reason where you would have a tournament that no one can get to easily, right? I mean,
I don't know how difficult
there's only
it-
one
how
airline that
difficult
flies
is it to
into
get
it.
to Atlantic City?
Well, there's only one airline that flies in there, and you're still 20 miles from
okay.
from Atlantic City.
Yeah.
So a lot of people last year flew into Philadelphia and then either got a ride or rented a car or something. I only knew one person that actually flew into Atlantic City, and he still needed a ride to the airport, right?
Yeah.
But you look at Myrtle Beach, where the hotel rooms are like $30 a night, and they're everywhere. You look at a place like Nashville, where that hotel has a free shuttle from the airport, so even though it isn't like kind of right there, you can get to the airport for free,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to Vegas, which is like, I don't know, $15 cab ride, whatever, $10
least,
cab
right.
ride, and then now you're in Vegas, and it's like 3 miles to get from your room to the venue, and all this other. I hate playing in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's all we ever do, right? All the soft tip big tournaments, they're all in Vegas, right? But I mean, you look at NDA; they have one
Is
big
that
tournament
because
a
of
year.
the venue? I mean, are there other venues that they can find a host to?
They used to have a big tournament in Laughlin that Timmy Nichols' father used to run. And it was pretty cool because they had a big tournament either in Los Angeles or Vegas. I forget what it was. So they put this Laughlin tournament kind of in the middle. They'd run a bus and take all the British guys that played in L.A., take them over to Laughlin. It's like a 2.5, 3 hour drive. They'd have a tournament there, and then they would bus them up to Vegas for the North American Open. And so you're getting 3 tournaments in a weekend, or in one vacation, in one trip.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I loved about the Canadian system, where they have, you're there, but there's 4 or 5 events for the whole week. They do their national, they do their no-door cup, they do their provincial thing. We should have something like that, where you don't have to travel 10 weeks. You only have to travel 4, right?
Right.
And you work it around holidays. Like you have 4th of July, Labor Day, and Memorial Day are really hard weekends to use because all the places like Myrtle Beach and Virginia Beach are all booked and all expenses, right? After Labor Day,
Plus people
all
with-
those
plus
places
people
are
with
cheap.
Families have obligations, and they might not be able to go to a dart
Well, look,
tournament
I mean,
that
you
weekend.
you're not going to be able to please everybody.
Well, I agree with
I
that.
mean, but if you spread them out and you put them in good locations and they weren't expensive, and we had the bar, we could have $100,000 tournaments,
yeah.
right? If we had the bar,
Well, that would be fantastic.
you could
yeah.
you rent a warehouse in somewhere in Michigan with this 1-day license, and figure out a way to get people from the hotel to there, and my gosh,
right.
all the beer profits that go to the hotel end up going into the prize purse. Where are you now?
Yeah.
Right? And once you
And
get
plus, people are drinking more because the beer's cheaper.
well, yeah,
or the
but
drinks are cheaper,
look,
which-
I mean,
no.
what you're trying to create an experience. What I'm thinking of now is we need to come up with some sort of an experience that we could turn into television, right? So we could take them to, there's a new channel now. It's called MATV, and they got all these
I haven't heard of that.
car. It looks like kind of a NASCAR channel, but they don't show NASCAR. I mean,
Oh,
there's
perfect.
another, 108 hours of programming that somebody's going to need, right? Why not a dart tournament?
Right.
I mean, I guarantee you that if you filmed a good tournament and you cut it correctly and you put in the voiceovers and, announcers or whatever to describe what's going on in the matches, I think you'd be all right. The one thing that strikes me about the Darts Live matches is there's no, they stream it live and it looks good, but there's nobody talking, right? They don't have
Right.
2 guys in the back with a microphone describing the action. And I think that would help. Like the Canadian one that they streamed where they had the 2 women talking. I mean, they were just, they weren't really analyzing the match. I mean, they were just
You
kind of
want-
talking,
you
but
want
it
like
was nice.
Norm and Chad when they do the
No.
World Championship
No,
of
I
poker.
detest Norman Chad. But get somebody on there. I don't think it really matters. John Part was pretty good, but he's too expensive. I mean, it adds to the all this stuff adds
To the
for
experience.
for the viewers.
Yeah.
Right? Because they
Right.
don't know everything that's going on, and they don't always
Exactly.
understand, what's going on.
Well,
and the
that's what every
announcers make mistakes.
That's what
but
every
so
sport
what?
is about, though.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot just by watching any sport and listening to the announcers.
And that is what a lot of people watch for. People
Exactly.
watch golf tournaments to get golf tips as
Yes.
well as to see who wins, right?
agree.
People watch.
you can watch baseball.
Yeah, it drives Jill crazy because the guy's like, for you little leaguers at home,
but that's
look
what
the
they
ball
do.
into your
That's
glove.
That's
But
what they're.
that's why you
That's
watch.
what the programmers are telling them to say. I mean, they want them to get those people to watch for those reasons.
So Darts Live should look at doing that. I guess they didn't
Yeah.
stream. We have results from Washington. Did we do those?
No, we have
No.
not.
All right, let's do what is it called now? The America's
Stage
Tour?
1 America's Tour.
The Stage 1 America's Tour in Washington over the weekend. What do you got? Top 8 there?
I got top 8: Ray Carver, Michael Maloney, John Huseman, Randy Van Duerson. Did I say top 4? That was top 8.
That was top 8.
Top
Right.
4: Willie Walker and Brady McCaw. Leonard Gage second with Benjamin Dersch winning that Darts Live event.
So a lot of Midwesterners in the top 8 there. 1, 2, 3. So half of them are from the Midwest. The one thing I heard, and I have no way of knowing, but what they were telling me, because guys were on their phones trying to follow this. I don't know if they were looking on Facebook or Twitter, was that Soldier, Leonard Gates, was actually leading in the cricket and had like 2 numbers to Ben Dersch's 1 number, but Ben won by 3 points because on
really?
rounds. So I think the terminology is he got rounded out.
Okay.
And I'm just sort of like, I wish they'd lose this round thing in the, I understand you
So
got a
he's lost
time
by
issue.
3 points.
But he had right,
more marks.
which doesn't make sense to me because you need 2 darts to close 2 numbers. That only gives you 1 dart to point with. So I'm not sure. It just strikes me. I was telling these guys, I think it's an artificial rule. It's kind of like, hey, you know what? It's Major League Baseball, but we don't want this game to run too long. So from now on, everybody starts with 2 strikes.
Make it a slow pitch game.
No, I mean honestly, if you change a rule like that, or you know what, there's not enough runs getting scored. So from now on, 1 ball and it's a walk. You don't, from now on, everybody starts at the 40.
Right.
You know what I mean? From now on, your 3-pointers are worth 4. What you can't just make up rules.
Get a temporary runner.
Yeah, you can't just make up these rules. And I understand, like, the soft tip machine manufacturers probably originally put a limit on their cricket games.
Because they want people to keep putting quarters in
they
the
didn't
machine.
want somebody to put in 1 quarter
And play for an hour.
and then just play for an hour and a half
no
and
way.
get 18,000 points.
Right.
Because all we're going to do, you throw it the 20s, I'll throw it the 19s,
And we'll just
keep doing it for fun. I understand why you would have those to begin with. What I don't understand is why in a competitive event you would bring that in.
Right.
Because it changes the strategy and it changes the entire game. And this is not a game that everybody plays the same way to begin with. Right? So
True. Correct.
I don't see artificially influencing the strategy as being a good idea.
Do you
right?
think Leonard Gates was upset? I mean,
I have no idea. I've seen the guy.
Did you
I've
hear
heard
about it, or I mean?
I just heard he got rounded out. I also heard one guy say that he probably didn't even realize it, which I have no idea if that's true or not. But the guy got rounded out.
What an
in
awful way to
top
lose! All of a
4
sudden somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, "By the way, game over. You lost."
in the final
Yeah.
of like a big
Yeah.
event that
Oh.
pays $5,000.
Sorry,
Right?
you got second, and you turn around and say what? And then they got a piece of paper that says, "Okay, this is the rule."
I just don't like this rule. I just, as a purist, and I don't see how it's going to be more compelling, especially if people are watching like a live stream and nobody's telling them, oh, hey, by the way,
Exactly.
they're going to be looking at
Right.
this like, what just happened?
Yeah. He
Right?
was up
Which is
3
probably what the guy was thinking, but
Right.
you know what I mean? So, I'm going to try to play in this Darts Live thing. I don't know if I'll be able to. But this, and if I'm there, I'll try to get a hold of Rob Heckman or Scotty Kirchner, one of the powers that be with Darts Live, and excuse me, see if I can't somehow. We have no cough.
We
button.
have no cough button.
We have no cough button.
We're like Harry Carey.
That's my new
Back
mission.
in the day, Harry.
Yeah. No, but I would like to see that go away at least for say top 4, top 8, whatever. I understand they run their tournaments, in a very orderly manner. They try to hit their marks time-wise, which in cricket is very difficult to do. So if you don't have enough time to run the events and you need to have this artificial limit in the round of 128 and the round of 64 and all this.
Same thing as playing in tennis. You have a tiebreaker until the final in the 5th.
Yeah, and
It's
then
the
in the
same-
5th leg, you don't
same thing.
automatic. Yeah, they're doing the opposite. In the
Right.
5th leg at Wimbledon, it's you win by 2, and if
And
you're there 11 hours,
you're
John
there, that's
Eisner,
it.
then by golly, we're going to be there with you, buddy.
Exactly.
Instead of because let me tell you, if it really became a popular TV show and they had to cut the ending, that's the one thing you don't do. You cut the beginning. You don't cut the ending.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I hope they rethink that and maybe, because they have made changes. I mean, they changed the order of the legs this year, right? Which I thought was a good idea. I thought,
Well, I'm pretty sure that
Because
Leonard
the other
Gates
way
will be
was
the
kinda
first
weird.
person in line to get him to change that.
well, Nico DePanos will be right behind him.
All right.
No, but I mean, it's
But I agree with you. It should.
that shouldn't be what determines the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe they should have an official or like a little light go up saying in big letters, 5 rounds left, 4 rounds left, 3 rounds left, so the people watching at home know, oh my God, he's only got 3 more
Right.
rounds to go. What will he do? What will he do?
Yeah, I
Right?
could see that.
Okay? Because it's a little thingy.
That
If I
nobody
recall
knows.
correctly, that I only noticed when I was in Vegas playing in the Darts Live, and then I asked somebody, and they told me about it. I'm like, really? And I think what they did was they extended the rounds. It's 15 in the earlier rounds, and then they made it 20. But if they had like this big, they got flashing lights for everything on that thing, right? They
You
got
can add
little
something.
green
Yeah.
when you have to hit a double and the bullseye. So I mean, they could put something in there. But if there was some way that they could communicate it clearly to everybody, at least that would help. That's all I'm saying. See, who do I not criticize? Darts Live's the best thing to come to America, and I don't know how long, and here I am criticizing them.
Oh, nobody's perfect.
It's not personal.
We
I'm trying to
criticize
help. Right. It's line around the block of that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Are we done? I have all this stuff that we didn't get to. It's going to have
Unless
to
you
wait.
want to record a second show.
No. Can we not do that, please? No. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Oh, Sassy was going to chime in with
Anything from
something.
the chat room?
No.
Did we? How many more Steve haters did we get this week? Are we
I
gonna
don't
put
know
a-
yet. I
See, if
haven't
we had a
taken
website, we could put a counter on there.
I haven't taken a toll or anything, so
Okay.
I
Why
don't
don't
know.
they have likes and hates? Can you just say hate?
Well, that was the
Instead of
whole
likes?
thing. Yeah. Like hate.
Yeah.
See how many hates I get?
Right.
See if it outnumber the likes. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, you can always get the audio downloads off of iTunes, off TuneIn.com, off Stitcher.com. YouTube, if you search Dart Talk, we have our own channel. So you got to go to the channel tab and then type in Dart Talk, and we got all our old video shows up there. There's
Dart
no
Talk
video.
US, right?
Yeah, there's no video from last week. So you'll have to get the
We had a
audio.
glitch.
On our Facebook page, I put a link to the iTunes, and I assume it worked because nobody said
All
it
right.
didn't. So, and then we'll be back next Wednesday at our usual time, and I'll tell everybody about the doings in Nashville.
You're going to Nashville this
Going to
weekend?
Nashville
Yeah.
for the Music City Classic, and it'll be interesting, I
Is
think.
your woman going?
She is.
Nice. You going to see your mom?
Going to try to take her on the Pachyderm tour
Oh, again?
on
Didn't you
Monday.
do that
I
last
think
year?
She didn't come. 'cause
Oh,
she was in
didn't go
Alaska.
last year.
No,
Okay.
she was on
But
like
you
one
guys
of those.
went on the Pachyderm tour last year.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
Cool.
apparently it's much improved.
Cool.
Yeah, they got rid of some lamer that was in the way.
Yeah.
I don't have any details on that.
But
I'm
you
not
will.
going to speculate that somehow he found himself underneath one of the pachyderms.
Right.
I have no knowledge of that whatsoever.
Well, that's good.
And then hopefully we'll get a new disclaimer next week. We'll see if we can't do that. Got anything there, chat room girl? Anything from the chat room?
It's hump day.
Right. Okay. We'll hang out in the chat room for a little while for an after party if you guys
You have
want.
to
But
get Camel going across the screen now.
right. Other than that, for Mystery Mark, chat room girl, thanks for listening. As always, you can email darttalk@gmail.com if you got any questions or comments or anything like that. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.